We are continuing with the series on commonly used expressions, and in this lesson we will study expressions that use animals. Before we begin, please don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons and click the notification icon if you would like to know when a new video lesson is released. So let's get started. Let's start with birds. We are going on a wild goose chase if we go searching for something that doesn't exist or where there is no hope of ever being successful. A pickpocket, carterista in Spanish, stole my wallet, and when I realized it, I went looking for him. But with thousands of people in the square, it was just a wild goose chase. Journalists sometimes go on a wild goose chase searching for information that nobody is ever going to share with them, such as in organized crime or tax havens. We often say to watch like a hawk. We all know a hawk has amazing vision and can sense anything that moves from hundreds of meters away. So this one is easy enough to explain. A teacher might say to a student that she is watching him like a hawk, which means that she must be suspicious of him for some reason. To go cold turkey. Now we use this expression when we want to quit taking an addictive drug without any help. Cold turkey refers to the suffering involved. The most common context we use this is when we want to quit smoking. Some people quit smoking with medical help and with other nicotine drugs, but this is not going cold turkey. If you just stop smoking and decide to deal with the side effects without nicotine replacement or vaping or any other help, then you are going cold turkey. An unusual one, I know, and I am not sure if such an expression exists in other languages. You can let me know in the comments. I like this next one, and it is to get your ducks in a row. It means that if you're going to attempt something that could have negative consequences for you, you should make sure to be fully prepared before attempting it. Maybe you are going to present a big idea at work, but you need to get it signed off by some senior managers, then you really should try to prepare for all the questions they are likely to ask and give good examples. You get your ducks in a row. If you are a sitting duck, then you are an easy target for someone. So think of someone who is hunting ducks. It is much easier to shoot the duck if it is sitting on water than if it is flying. We can use this expression in war. A ship without protection in the Suez Canal at the moment is a sitting duck for pirates. But we can use it in other contexts. A politician might be a sitting duck in a press conference if they have not had time to prepare answers for a political controversy that has just happened. Now a few more with birds. To chicken out of something means to decide not to do something because of fear. I was going to do a bungee jump, but I chickened out at the last minute. You can use it in almost any context where you decide not to do something because you were scared. She is a good singer, but she chickened out of singing in front of a large crowd last night. If someone calls you a chicken, they are teasing you because you were afraid to do something. And don't forget that all-important preposition, out. A night owl is a person who stays up late at night. Maybe they prefer to work at that time, or they just want to watch TV or go out and socialize. The opposite to that is an early bird, someone who likes to wake up early and is more productive at that time. This relates directly to another expression, which is an early bird catches the worm, which means that people who get up early in the morning tend to succeed because they know what opportunities are out there that day before the night owls get up. I guess that's the origin of it anyway. You may sometimes see early bird menus in restaurants. This means that they have a special offer for people who want to eat earlier than the normal times. As the crow flies. This is a crow. Not a particularly beautiful bird, but they can't all be. We use this expression when we want to express the distance between 2 points in a straight line. Usually we are talking long distances in many kilometers and not short distances. So it's 620 kilometers from here to Paris by road, but only 550 kilometers as the crow flies. I guess crows always fly in a straight line. Don't all birds? I have no idea. If someone decides to spread their wings, it means that they want to become more independent. Perhaps that is a teenager or young adult who is still living with their parents but want to have a place of their own. That's the type of situation we use this most commonly. Sergio is 32 years old and still lives with his parents. Maybe it's time he spread his wings. Kill 2 birds with the 1 stone. Now, I think many languages have an expression like this. It means to achieve 2 objectives with the same effort. I can take Javi to the airport and Sandra's flight arrives around the same time, so I can collect her and kill 2 birds with the 1 stone. And finally on birds, we have the pecking order. You may be wondering what this has to do with birds, but when a bird uses its beak, it is pecking. But what does the expression mean? Well, if you are low down the pecking order, it means that you are low in the ranking or hierarchy of the group of people in that context. So for example, imagine a job opportunity comes up in your company and you decide to go for it, but there are 3 other candidates who are higher up in the hierarchy in the company, then you would say that you are 4th in the pecking order. This doesn't mean that you won't get the job, but it's just a way people have of ranking candidates. They may not be more senior than you in the company, but others might just see them as having a better opportunity to get the job. Let's move on to a few expressions relating to cats. If you throw the cat among the pigeons, then you are causing upset, annoyance, or controversy. If you can imagine a group of pigeons in a plaza somewhere and an angry cat suddenly appears, then the pigeons are not likely to be pleased about it. They get upset and probably try to get out of there. Here is an example sentence. The bride's uncle really set the cat among the pigeons when he showed up drunk in the wedding. Someone can throw the cat among the pigeons deliberately in order to get a reaction, and it isn't necessarily a bad thing to do. Maybe provoking a reaction will achieve a positive result. I threw the cat among the pigeons in a meeting yesterday when I complained to my colleagues that we were not making enough progress on our projects. You can change the verb here from throw to put or set. It makes no difference. This next one also refers to a cat. It is to let the cat out of the bag. It has the same meaning as to spill the beans, which I cover in another expression lesson about food. If we let the cat out of the bag, then we are revealing a secret that we are not supposed to. If you're planning a surprise party for your mother and someone lets the cat out of the bag, then it means that your mother now knows about the party, so it cannot be a surprise anymore. If someone says to you that you look like something the cat dragged in, then they are not paying you a compliment. What is a cat likely to drag into your house? Well, it's not usually something you want in your house. So if someone says to you, you look like something the cat dragged in, it means that you look scruffy or not well dressed or not in good health in that moment. Maybe you're tired or hungover. That's it. By a whisker. So a whisker is this, those long straight hairs that come out from the face of a cat and in other mammals. In short, by a whisker means by a very small amount. Amount can refer to anything depending on the context. Time is a very common context. So if we miss a deadline by a whisker, then it means that if you had been a very small amount of time earlier, you would not have missed the deadline. Maybe you are catching a flight and you make the flight by a whisker, then it means that if you had been a few minutes or seconds later, then you would have missed the flight. Notice the verb collocation here, miss a flight. It's not lose a flight or lose a bus. You cannot lose a flight or a bus. This is a translation error from Spanish, and you will not be understood if you make this error. So those are the expressions with cats, and now we'll have to do some with dogs to balance out the cat and dog divide. First of all, you need to know the verb and noun for the sound a dog makes. Do you know it? The verb and noun are the same, and it is bark, and it is a regular verb. Okay, so the first expression is to bark up the wrong tree. I guess if you see a dog chasing something like a cat, and he is at the bottom barking, but the cat is in a different tree, then the dog is barking up the wrong tree if he is trying to find the cat. Well, the expression itself is kind of related to that idea. It is used to mean to be wrong about the way to achieve something. Some examples, as always, will help with the understanding. If you are learning English and you think that watching English movies with subtitles in your language will get you to an advanced level, then you are barking up the wrong tree. You're going to have to do more than just that. Someone might say to you that you are barking up the wrong tree if you think I am going to clean your house. They are saying if you want someone to clean your house, then ask someone else, because it isn't going to be me. In another context, maybe you are trying to figure out something. Figure out, a great phrasal verb to know. And you have a theory, but someone disagrees with your logic and says to you, you are barking up the wrong tree. It's a great expression to know. The next one also uses bark, and that is all bark and no bite. Or we also say it sometimes as his or her bark is worse than his or her bite. We use this when we want to express that someone may threaten something in words, but they are not as bad as that in reality and are not going to follow through on that threat. I don't mean threaten in an aggressive way. An example would be if you have a new teacher in school who doesn't seem very nice, and another student says don't worry, her bark is worse than her bite. They are saying that she is not as bad as she seems at first. You can see where the expression comes from. A dog barking can't hurt you, but can give the impression that he is going to bite, but maybe then he doesn't. So his bark is worse than his bite. Another one with dog is you can't teach an old dog new tricks. You will find plenty of opportunities to use this expression, and it is really easy. We use it when we talk about someone who has been doing a task or something else in the same way for many years, and then a new method or modern technology is introduced and they refuse to or just cannot adapt to it. My mother would be a little bit like that. Well, she is almost 90 years old, so we can forgive her, but she really doesn't know how to use a mobile phone very well. I guess you can't teach an old dog new tricks. If you are in the doghouse, it means that you are in some sort of trouble, like with your parents, husband or wife, though it's more usual for a husband to be in the doghouse, your teacher, etc. You wouldn't use this expression if you are in trouble with the law or something very serious. My teacher saw me using my mobile phone in class this morning, and I am in the doghouse now. You might hear someone say, it's a dog-eat-dog world, or my office is dog-eat-dog. It means that it's the survival of the fittest in your work environment, and there is no room for compassion or for people helping each other. If you fail, then nobody is going to pick you up. It's a rather gloomy and depressing term, so hopefully you don't have to use it in your environment. The hair of the dog, or to give it the full expression, the hair of the dog that bit you. We use this when we have been out partying late into the night and we wake up the next morning with a hangover. You know what a hangover is, right? The hair of the dog refers to the cure for the hangover, and that is more alcohol. I know it sounds strange that more alcohol might cure you, but I think it's just an excuse for people who like to drink a lot to go drinking again. So if you say to someone you're going for the hair of the dog that bit you, it means that you have a hangover and now you're going to have more alcohol. This one has both cats and dogs in it. It's raining cats and dogs. Most Spanish students know this expression and they seem to be impressed with themselves when they use it. But I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Nobody really uses this expression in English. It's old and I haven't heard it used by a native speaker in many, many years. I'm going to give you some great alternatives to this, which are much more commonly used. They are not expressions, but verbs. It's lashing, and you can add down if you want. It's lashing down. It's bucketing, or you can add down again. It's bucketing down. If you want to get really colloquial, you can say it's pissing out of the heavens. There you go. Remember those few and forget about cats and dogs. The next group we'll look at are all types of sea life and fish. The world is your oyster is used when we want to express that you have plenty of opportunities for a happy life and to make the most of what the world has to offer. We normally say it to young adults who are healthy and free to do whatever they want with their lives. If you are a fish out of water, then it means you are in a place or a situation where you're not comfortable and feel different to the other people there. I went to a dinner event in jeans, but everyone was wearing very formal dress. I felt like a fish out of water. I feel like a fish out of water in my new company. Everyone has master's degrees from Harvard and Stanford universities, and I went to a polytechnic. Like shooting fish in a barrel is a little bit like a sitting duck, but not quite the same. It means that something is very easy, but you do need some context. If you're looking for a good wine and you visit La Rioja, a region in Spain, then it's like shooting fish in a barrel. In other words, if you can't find a good wine in this famous wine region of Spain, then it is your fault and nobody else's. If you're a big fish in a small pond, then it means that you are an important person, but only where there is a small number of people or where the overall importance of that place you are in is very low. Do you know what a pond is? It's a small lake like this one. So imagine you are the big fish in here. Well, it doesn't mean that you are important on a global scale. Let me give you an example. The mayor of my town, with a population of 5,000 people, controls a lot of the business and property here, but it is a small pond, so he's a big fish in a small pond. If he had the same business interests in the capital city, he would be a small fish in a big pond. You can use it about a large company as well. Maybe your department is very small and relatively unimportant in terms of the global presence of the company, then any individual who has a lot of influence within that department would be a big fish in a small pond. If you are a small fish in a small pond, then you really have very little importance. If you have broken up with your partner, a friend might say to you, "Don't worry, there are more fish in the sea." Translations of this are common in other languages, so you probably know what it means. The idea is that you'll find a new girlfriend or boyfriend soon because there are plenty more fish in the sea. This is the only context we use this expression. Let's move on to other animals and mammals. To go down a rabbit hole is commonly used in meetings at work. Someone might say, "Let's not go down a rabbit hole here or we will be here all day." It means that if you start discussing a particular topic, you don't know where it could lead to and you will get distracted from the main purpose of the discussion. It comes from Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland. A bull in a china shop. Again, this one has translations in other languages, so you will probably understand it quite quickly. If someone is like a bull in a china shop, it means they are being clumsy and break things easily. These don't have to be physical things. We can use it in a work environment where people don't handle things very well. Maybe you are in a delicate situation in a meeting in work, but somebody behaves like a bull in a china shop it means that they are just making the situation worse. By the way, China in this expression does not refer to the country. It refers to a specific type of porcelain, which is delicate and easy to break. So this next expression comes from a famous fable and exists in many languages. It is the boy who cried wolf. Sometimes we shorten it to just cry wolf. It doesn't have to be a boy, of course, it can be anyone. If you don't know what it means, well, it means that we cannot trust a person by what they say because they have been found out to be lying many times in the past. But there is always the possibility that on this occasion they are not lying. To take the bull by the horns means to confront a difficult or dangerous or challenging situation directly with confidence and bravery. It expresses the action of facing a problem head on and not procrastinating or avoiding it. Someone might say, we need to take the bull by the horns here, or we will never get this project done. This is a bull, and here you can see its horns. It takes a brave person to confront the bull and grab it by the horns. But we don't need extreme situations in which to use the expression. It can be for much more mundane situations. We commonly use it when there is a lack of leadership, and leadership is required. Imagine a team that is losing a game because they seem a little lost, and a player decides to take the bull by the horns and show some leadership in the team and challenge the opposition. If you have the lion's share of something, then it means you have the best part, or the majority of whatever that something is. So the lion is the king of the jungle, and what he wants, he gets. If the lion wants more meat, then he will get it. We can use it in many contexts. You might often hear a football commentator say one team has had the lion's share of possession, or in business, a company might have the lion's share of the market. Now let's finish off with a few expressions involving insects. The first one is to have a bee in your bonnet. This is a bee and this is a bonnet. To have a bee in your bonnet about something means that you are obsessed with it in a way that can be a little annoying to other people. My brother has a bee in his bonnet about people eating meat. He is constantly going on about it. If something is the bee's knees, then it means it is very good or the best. I have no idea about the origins of this expression because it makes no sense whatsoever. It's very similar to la leche or da puta madre in Spanish. Da puta madre. I just love that expression in Spanish. The first time I heard it, I thought it was a bad thing. Anyway, an example of bee's knees. This new phone I got is the bee's knees. I just love it. You can use it in a wide variety of contexts. To stir up a hornet's nest. So hornet is a type of wasp, avispa in Spanish. You do not want to stir up or agitate one of its nests, at least not without protective equipment. In this idiom, it means to do something that may cause a lot of controversy or cause a situation that will be difficult to deal with. An example might be in politics. The Minister for the Environment really stirred up a hornet's nest when she stated that she didn't believe climate change was real. The reaction on social media was brutal and she had to resign. In situations where you are likely to cause problems, a friend might advise you to let sleeping dogs lie, which is the opposite to this expression. In other words, don't go stirring up a hornet's nest. If someone tells you there are no flies on you, then they are paying you a compliment. They are saying that you cannot be easily deceived. If you try to play a trick on someone and they don't fall for it, then there are no flies on that person. Note that phrasal verb collocation there, fall for. Oh, to be a fly on the wall. We say this when we want to express that we would like to be able to hear what has been said, but without anyone noticing our presence. Nobody notices a fly on the wall, right? Imagine a tense situation at work and one of the employees made a huge error that has cost the company a lot of money. They are called into the manager's office. That would be an occasion when you might want to be a fly on the wall. You'd love to hear what is being said with nobody noticing you are there. One expression about donkeys before we go, and that is the donkey work. The person who does the donkey work is the person who does all the hard work on something that is not glamorous and rarely gets the credit for it. So that is it for all the expressions I have for you using animals. I hope you found some of them useful and memorable. You're not going to remember all of them, and you're not going to use all of them in the correct context, but never worry about those things. Remember what you can. If you are exposed to English on a regular basis, then you will hear some of them very soon. Make a note of the context they were used in, and this will help you learn how to use them. Also, if there are some expressions you like or you want to test yourself, why not put them in context and put them into a sentence and put them in the comments. Si eres hispanohablante y quieres corregir los errores comunes que los hispanohablantes cometen en inglés, echa un vistazo a mi curso en Udemy centrado únicamente en este tema. So thank you for watching, and don't forget all those important like, subscribe and notification buttons. See you next time.